Hello and good evening to all our viewers. This is Prime TV News and I'm Malshani Gamage. Details follow after these headlines. The Education Minister responds to media publicity. Euro 4 replaces Super Diesel and Octane 95. Mahanayakas are apprised of the audit bill. Veteran actor Roy De Silva bids farewell to the nation. And in news overseas, López Obrador wins the Mexican presidential election. Minister Akhila Viraj has said that the education sector should not be used on behalf of political victimization. The Education Minister made this appeal at a media conference organized to raise awareness on the false report that was published in a national newspaper under the headline, "All schools will close on 4th of this month." The minister said that the Divina newspaper has carried a report saying that schools will close on the 4th. He said that this is actually an insult to the 4.5 million children studying in schools. He queried as to the ethics of carrying such news in a paper. He also queried whether schools can be closed in a manner to meet the needs of others. In the same newspaper, there is an editorial saying that Akhila should go to school again. He said that this matter was not to be questioned. He said very recently he made a reference to Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Hitler. Expressing his views at this news conference, State Minister Ajit P. Pereira said that schools will not close on the 4th. No one will be permitted to close down schools on the 4th. He said that teachers as well as children will attend schools on the 4th and that everyone who was subject to political victimization will be attending schools on the 4th of this month. He called on the children to attend schools as they would not close the schools. Further addressing the news conference held at the Education Ministry, the minister said that a formal mechanism had been adhered to in the granting of teacher appointments to those who were subject to political victimization. The minister pointed out that some were engaged in false campaigns with respect to the granting of these appointments. The Ceylon Petroleum Corporation has introduced environmentally friendly Euro 4 petrol and diesel to the market. The Petroleum Corporation said Euro 4 will help engines perform better with less toxic emissions. A ceremony in this respect was held at a filling station in Colombo. It was organized under the patronage of Petroleum Development Minister Arjuna Ranatunga. The current price of a litre of Octane 95 is 148 rupees. A Super Diesel litre costs 119 rupees. A Euro 4 diesel litre costs 119 rupees, while the cost of a litre of Euro 4 petrol is 148 rupees. Accordingly, Euro 4 can be purchased at the prevailing prices of Octane 95 petrol and Super Diesel. The Mahanayakas of the Malvatta and Askiriya chapters have emphasized that it is timely that the audit bill be passed in order to close down financial disturbances in the country. The chief prelates laid this emphasis when the Auditor General Gamini Vijay Singha paid courtesy calls on the Mahanayakas of the Malvatta and Askiriya chapters. Auditor General Gamini Vijay Singha first visited the Malvatta Mahavihara and called on the Mahanayaka, the most venerable Tibetuave Sri Sumangala Thera, and received his blessings. Thereafter, they engaged in a cordial discussion. Gamini Vijay Singha said that the proposed audit bill is slated to be taken up for debate in Parliament on the 5th of this month. He said that its passage in Parliament will, on a large scale, bring under control corruption, fraud and malpractices taking place in the country. The Auditor General thereafter called on the Mahanayaka of the Askiriya chapter, the most venerable Varkagoda Sri Gnanaratna Thera. He took the initiative of apprising the Mahanayaka of the audit bill. Responding to queries raised by journalists, the Auditor General said that they have the possibility of investigating into financial transactions carried out without firms that are not being subject to any audit process. The Mathura Magistrates Court has ordered to present all suspects with respect to the exchange of fire with the police in the Mathura town for an identification parade. The suspects who had come to burgle the jewelry shop in the Mathura town exchanged fire with the police. The courts informed that the identification parade will be held on the 16th of this month. One of the suspects in this case was produced in courts today. The suspect was Atula Kitsiri, who was detained in the Angunukula Palace prison. The suspect was brought to court premises under special police security. Meanwhile, Koskuda Taraka, who is one of the main suspects in the incident, was not produced in courts today. The police said that he was ill. Meanwhile, a suspect has been taken into custody for the illegal possession of 2 pairs of elephant tusks of archaeological value. The arrest has been made in the Pilimatalav area. The raid was carried out on a tip-off received that plans were underway to sell the 2 pairs of elephant tusks in a house in the Pamanur area in Pilimatalava. The raid was carried out after officials of the Architectural Conservation Division in Kandy, affiliated to the Central Provincial Deputy Inspector General's office in Kandy, deployed decoys under the guise of purchasing the tusks. It is reported that plans were afoot to sell a pair of tusks for 5.5 million rupees. Police suspect one of the pairs of tusks had been looted from the historic Paskama Devala. It is hoped to summon an archaeological report with regard to these ancient tusks. The suspect has been identified as a 35-year-old resident of Pilimatalava. He will be produced before the Magistrates Court in Kandy, and the Architectural Conservation Division in Kandy is conducting further investigations regarding the incident. The fundamental rights petition filed by the Venerable Galagoda Atte Gnanasara Thera was taken up in the Supreme Court today. The Supreme Court scheduled the hearing of the petition for the 15th of October. The Venerable Gnanasara Thera in his petition is seeking to issue an order saying that the verdict given by the Homagama Magistrates Court to remand him over a complaint made in January 2016 by the wife of Pragit Egnaligoda is illegal. The petitioner is calling on the Supreme Court to issue a statement saying that as a result, his fundamental rights had been violated. Gnanasara Thera, who was convicted in this incident, is now enlarged on bail following the filing of an appeals petition. The revision petition filed by former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa was taken up in the appeals court today. He is seeking the suspension of cases filed in the Colombo Chief Magistrates Court with respect to the Avantgarde transaction. Gotabaya Rajapaksa's counsel presented oral submissions, while the oral submissions of the Attorney General was postponed for the 4th of next month. A person has received a life sentence with hard labour by the order of the Colombo High Court for the possession of 2.18 grams of heroin and its smuggling. The verdict was delivered by the Colombo High Court judge on a person living in Borella. The suspect was arrested from the Paliagoda area in a raid conducted by the Coastal Police in 2010. The Attorney General had filed the case against the suspect for the possession and smuggling of drugs. After a long-drawn court case, the suspect was imprisoned for life. It is intended to deploy railway security officials in civis for the security of railway compartments. This was disclosed by Minister of Transport Nimal Siripala de Silva. Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva mentioned that railway security officers will be deployed inside trains in civis to prevent vandalism in trains. The Transport Minister said that if any passenger is caught engaged in destructive activities, stern legal action will be taken under the Public Properties Act. Transport Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva was speaking at a function organised for the introduction of a special train with 10 modernised compartments for operation. The train, which started its journey from the Colombo Fort railway station, operated up to Mathura. The Railways Department last year launched a program of modernizing 200 dilapidated carriages with full facilities under the aim of encouraging local industrialists. 25 such modernized compartments have already been introduced to service. The expenditure incurred for the modernization of a compartment is 14 million rupees, while the cost of importing a compartment is around 60 million rupees. The government has allocated a sum of 2.4 billion rupees for the relevant project. Among those present on the occasion was Deputy Minister Ashok Abesinghe. 3 veteran artists bid farewell to the nation today. President Maithripala Sirisena paid his last respects to these three veteran artists. The president arrived at a private funeral parlour in Borella and paid his final respects to Roy De Silva, who passed away on the 30th of June at the age of 80. The president thereafter expressed his condolences to veteran actress Sumana Amarasinghe, the wife of Roy De Silva, and family members and other artists. Thereafter, President Maithripala Sirisena paid his last respects to veteran vocalist Atula Somasiri. He was 79 at the time of his demise and had been ailing for some time. He won the hearts of his fans for rendering songs in the voice of Sinhala folk songs. In the meantime, the funeral of veteran dramatist S. Karunaratne took place at the General Cemetery, Kanatha this afternoon. He was 78 at the time of his death. The president, after paying his last respects to S. Karunaratne, expressed his condolences to his family members. S. Karunaratne entered the field of drama in the 1960s and served as a playwright, translator and a director. He was a state award winner and had discharged a valuable service to the field of drama. And that's all the news for tonight. Do log in to itnnews.lk for the very latest in news at home and overseas. I'm Asha Nigamagi signing out with Prime TV News. Good night.